guys, and welcome back to a special episode of Are You Not Entertained? We have a beast, a piece of dirt, a monster on the programme. We've got our good pal Ryan. He's a regular Arsenal fan. Well, yeah, a regular Arsenal fan, we'll call him. One of the worst ones, one of the dirtiest, scheming. He's a good guy, and he's our friend. And that's why we've invited him on the show. Ryan, welcome.
Yeah, evidently. Clearly, I feel very welcome after that stellar introduction. Thank you for having us, Gerald, Oliver, and Peter.
Well, so you should.
I feel like when WCW and ECW invaded WWE in 2001 with a substantially weaker roster. Like, that's what I feel. That's a reference that I hope the geekier members of your fan base will really bloody appreciate.
I don't know how many wrestling fans we've got. I don't know how many fans we've got, so I can't help you.
Not many.
So I can say what I want.
You can say what you like.
There's no advertisers holding purse strings, nothing like that. We're free to tongue wag with the best of them. Okay.
As things stand, we are free, but let me tell you, this time next year,
sponsored content. You guys like pretzels, right? Well,
but chaps, we're here for one reason. Well, first of all, I'll say I've got my best guys here. My best guys, I've got my cousin Ollie and my brother Peter, and then we've got our guest Ryan. But we've got the best guys and only over here. So let's get into it though. The North London derby. Peter made a comment earlier tonight, and it resonates with me quite deep. He said, "Jerry, you look very handsome." No, he said, "Jerry, I hate going into the North London derby as the favourites," and that is very, very true, because I think we'd say we are the favourites. Is that everyone?
100%. 100%. You have to be.
Which makes it just more nerve-wracking. I mean, Arsenal for years and years and years, as we know, dominated, much higher up in the league, better side than us. Every now and then we turn up in the derbies because I think for us we got fired up. We weren't expected to win, and actually it was still exciting. Whereas now, we're not exactly smashing the league, but we are in good form. We look the better side. We should be the favourites, which comes with that a different pressure. I think a bit of a gift for us is that it's going to be an empty stadium. We'd take that. That is something. Albeit you do love to have a bit of an atmosphere, and it is a bit gutting, etc. But Ryan, I want to ask you, throw a few questions your way. So before we really go into the game and talk about the ins and outs of it, what's happened this season? What's going on?
What has happened?
From your side, though, why are you where you are? Are you positive? Are you negative? Do you like Arteta? How do you see it?
We sit in 10th because I think we've got the 10th best squad in the league. I think we are exactly where we should be. There was a lot of hope when he come in last year, and obviously we had a great run and went on and did the FA Cup. He changed the formation, went to three at the back and set Aubameyang alight, finding him in that upper left-hand channel. It just hasn't happened this year. We got found out very quickly that if you negate that channel, I think we played City early on in the season. They played 2 right backs against him, and that stopped that game plan in its entirety. And then that was us pretty much done for until December. In effect, we're not great, mate. We're just not great. There's the reason why you are such overwhelming favourites is for the form that you're in now. You've got the 3rd best squad in the league, very, very comfortably.
Who are the top 3 squads in the league?
Liverpool, City, and yourselves.
Oh, is Chelsea's squad not better?
No, I wouldn't. You could say in terms of depth, but in terms of your best 11, and then your immediate understudies, I think Spurs, your front 3 is unsettling, very unsettling.
I think we've got a very good squad. I think we've said it on here a bunch of times that obviously the centre backs are a massive problem. In my opinion, we're a centre back away. Well, maybe 2 centre backs and a goalkeeper away from really having a go. But not everyone feels that way. I think if you look on Twitter, and we often look at Twitter, don't we, chaps? Not always to our liking. But yeah, we have a good look at Twitter. Peter, I'm going to come to you before we go into sort of a bit of a player comparison, how I think the game might pan out. You are I'm guessing worried. you're
Always true. Danger is everywhere.
It's everywhere. What, in your mind, what worries you most in terms of going to the derby? Is it just the unknown entity of that anything can happen, or is there specifics that you do worry about?
The specific of potentially losing is my biggest worry. I just was brought up on such a hatred of Arsenal and it's never gone away. And it just I remember when they beat Hull in the FA Cup final and Hull went 2-0 up. And I was so angry after they won it for so long. And I'm not a ridiculous amount of time for something that had nothing to do with my team. But yeah, that is my biggest, I can't fathom, I mean, I can fathom it, but I hate the thought of losing to Arsenal. It drives me up the wall. And what makes it worse is when, as a teacher, you go into school the next day and children that don't understand the game whatsoever, 3-1 Mr. Kleins. Yeah, but we were better than you. You just caught us out. That sort of thing, that drives me up the wall. But yeah, it is. It's just a stress. I have a constant stress of losing to Arsenal. And like everyone says, the derby's a leveler. What I would have loved, potentially one day, would have been to be not an Arsenal, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but not an Arsenal or Spurs fan, because for the neutral, it seems from me personally, it's the best derby in the country by a million miles. Like,
yeah, I feel
Man City,
the
Man
exact
United is often dull. Like Chelsea don't really have, like, their biggest rival is probably Chelsea Spurs, or potentially Chelsea Arsenal in times gone by. Like Liverpool United tends to be a letdown these days as well. So it's like, whereas Spurs Arsenal has consistently been a very exciting game, but I don't know if that's because I'm emotionally invested in it or not. So yeah,
I think that's objective. I think we're fortunate enough to have one of the best spectacles for a derby outside of maybe Celtic Rangers. Always used to be really, really tasty however long ago, but that hasn't been the same for 10 years. Yeah, I think we're just really, really fortunate. Some of the games we've had since the 90s, where Arsenal sort of turned their back on defending during the Wenger years, we've just had free scoring, constant incident, Adebayor, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Just so much event.
Let's talk about the game then, boys. The next super game. We're hoping it'll be a good one anyway. Well, though I'd take a nice little boring 1-0 Mourinho performance, I'll admit. But where's the game won and lost? Where can Arsenal hurt us? Ryan, I'll ask you in a second. But first, Ollie, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Positive, where can we hurt Arsenal? Where do you see us causing damage? Aside from the obvious of the Kane and Sonny partnership, etc. What battles do you see as a bit of an in for the Tottenham players?
I think a big battle, obviously, as it always is, to be fair, in games, this will be in the midfield, kind of which Arsenal midfield turns up. Well, they've got Thomas Partey, I believe he's fit, and he looks an absolute player, to be fair, like he looks quality. But it's whoever plays next to him. Obviously, Xhaka had a bit of a nightmare in the Burnley game, didn't he? And, to put it politely, you got Ceballos in there as well. He doesn't really play from what I've sort of seen. So we're interested in how that sort of matches up and who we play in there. Obviously, I think in the back, I think both centre halves for both teams are pretty poor. I'm not sure, as sort of four, if you pick sort of two from each side, you could really pick out a best one. But so I think that the back, it would depend which attack turns up for me personally. I think if Willian always seems to have an absolute worldie against us. He seems to turn into sort of prime Ronaldinho whenever he plays Spurs. However,
I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that this year.
Well, that's what always happens, right? But yeah, obviously, if our attack can click as it has been doing in the past sort of few weeks, then yes, we could definitely give Arsenal a torrid time. But then Aubameyang is still a world-class player, so he's another one as well. If he fancies turning up, Lacazette loves a goal against Spurs as well. So I do think it would be a tasty game. I think there'll be quite a few goals. It'll probably be 0-0 now I've said that, but I do think it'll be a tasty game overall.
I think what's interesting is that both managers could potentially turn up with the game plan to sit back and catch the other one out. Because we did it against Arsenal last time. It worked pretty well. Arteta's been seen doing it in a fair few games. Really, I think we should be going there to attack. But it wouldn't surprise me if Mourinho switched up the tactics and altered it and went in with that kind of approach. And it also wouldn't surprise me if Arteta did that, because he will be somewhat fearful, I think, of what losing this game means and how much it would upset the fan base, and the fan base that are already half and half, similar to ours were a couple of weeks back. We were kind of half and half, Mourinho in, Mourinho out. And I think Arteta, well, if you believe AFTV, you can see it as a half and half. It's not necessarily the case. But Ryan, I come to you the same sort of question. Where do you think you can cause damage? Where do you think Arsenal can hurt us in this game? Nowhere. That's right.
I think the most interesting thing about it will be I don't think we'll be full strength. I think we will go all out in the Europa and do what we did against Leicester, which is drop Saka and Aubameyang and the likes of that. I think we won't be 100%.
You think
and
it
with
depends
that,
on the result of the first game, the leg on Thursday, you think if you go and win that well, that you might play full strength in the game against us?
I don't think we'll be full strength at all.
Interesting.
At this moment in time, I don't. He seems to have. I think he knows the season as a whole is pretty much a write-off, with the exception of the Europa. So I don't think we'll be 100% at all.
What are your thoughts on that? As an Arsenal fan, obviously going to the derby, not playing your strongest team.
It hurts. It's in the, as Peter was saying and alluding to earlier. It's a game that I always look forward to, Arsenal Spurs, because it's just a great fixture. It's a great spectacle. But the pressure on us was always to win. And it wasn't about how we won or anything like that. It was just get these 3 points because we're competing for the league here. We're competing for the Champions League here, you know? It was just about positions, and it was a emotional game on that run. Whereas now, we are not aiming for anything. So we're Everton to your Liverpool. That's how we've been. Where, yeah, this is our biggest game of the season now, but I don't think Arteta will accept that, and I don't think it's probably wise for him to do so as well. It's probably wise for him in the long run to focus on something like the Europa League, a competition which I despise.
Oh yeah,
you can't
get away with it as well. With the lack of fans, could be massive for him doing that. Yeah. I think if he tried to do it with a full stadium, like the fans would be on their back straight away. So not having fans could benefit him if he wanted to do that. I'm not convinced, but you never know.
Am I right thinking that in the Spurs home leg we had fans, and that not in this game now? Yeah, we did. Yeah, I thought we did. Oh, that's tasty.
Yeah, it's interesting. Right, I think he might go with a couple of players rested, but I don't think he'll do this as much as he did in the Leicester game, albeit the game he still won. I think Arteta will be aware that unless in my opinion, you don't get a good result in that first leg when you're away from home, and he worries that that's a real risk factor. I don't feel like he can potentially afford to do it, because you'll just have such repercussions. So I think it will be at least a 3/4 strength, at least just a couple players rested.
I want to believe that. I want to believe that you'll have to handle the threats of Saka, Tierney, and Aubameyang. Yeah, they're the only threats. Yeah, but whether you'll actually be asked to answer that, I really don't know. I really don't think so. One of them three will be missing.
Tierney, Aubameyang,
minimum,
and Saka are the players that I would think about as well. I think we should actually negate Tierney just by playing Bale, just by saying, well, Bale's not going to... It's an interesting one, because Bergwijn...
That's what I thought you were going to say.
We'd just go with him and deal with Tierney. I actually think it's better, but I prefer a more proactive way of playing. That if you've got Bale on the pitch, Tierney has to always be thinking, well, shit, that guy affects the game, and that guy's going to do is a big deal. He makes things happen at higher up the pitch. I think it stops him from getting forward as much, for me. Whereas Bergwijn would just track and deals with it, and he negates it. But I don't think we should be going into this game thinking, how do we stop Arsenal? I think we should be going into the game thinking, how are they going to stop us?
I think all you realistically need to do is have a relative low block and not necessarily encourage your fullbacks to get on quite like Reguilon, for example, or Aurier in particular would fancy to doing so. If you stop that space in between your half channels, then you're asking for a lot of individual brilliance from Saka or some great movement from Tierney. Aubameyang's movement is poor, full stop. He can't play back to goal. His goal against Burnley came when he was in that channel again the other day, but he doesn't really drift out there from his central when he's central starting. I'd like to see Lacazette play because I think he does hold up the ball and bring other people into the game. I'd like Smith Rowe to play, but I'm not 100% on what his situation is at the minute. He's missed a couple of games. I can't see how Højbjerg and maybe a Sissoko even, or Winks, if he's all right, putting a bit more of a foot in, would that block that? Yeah, I can't see how we'd get by that really.
Well, I think he'll play Tanguy and Højbjerg, and I reckon he'll play Lucas in the 10. I reckon Dele will play Jackson first, but I think Lucas will play in the 10. And I think Lucas will just be told every time Xhaka, if he's on the pitch, gets the ball, press him. Every time this player gets the ball, go get on top of him. Because Lucas just bundle of energy as a 10. Yeah, he's not necessarily the most creative player in the world, but he's crazy hardworking and super fit. So I think he'll just cause problems that way.
He's dynamic in the press as well. He presses with pace and at a high tempo and with agility. And when you don't know which way you can turn and you're back to goal and you hear him coming, that's painful. That's a worry.
100%. And I think if you've got a Xhaka playing who makes mistakes and the players worry about, just keep irritating them and making that a problem because it's going to play on the mind. It makes everyone else make mistakes as well.
The only reason I wouldn't hate to see Xhaka play is because he fills in at left back when Tierney goes. So if you did have Bale, that would be Xhaka's job primarily. But that's the only thing.
Goals.
Huh?
And not try to score own goals.
And sometimes just don't aspire to do these
In
things.
his defence, he didn't score an own goal.
Okay.
He set up Chris Wood.
It was a great cross.
He got an own assist, and that's his own assist, and no one can take it from him.
It's painful, Ryan. We've all been there.
I've never hated a player so much. He's by no means the worst player at our club, but you can't have someone in that area of the pitch that you play through that often be that unreliable.
Incredible. He's played under all of the last sort of 3 managers you've had. He's played a consistent part in everyone, isn't he? So he's obviously does.
He's probably one of our top 10 players at the club, really. But you can't have someone that unreliable in that area of the pitch. You just can't.
Totally agree. But I tell you who's not unreliable. Stats man Ollie. Now, Ollie, can you give us a few stats on the North London derby? I'm excited about these.
So it's going to be a bit of a statty quiz for you all. So I've got some of the stats here and chuck them out to you, and I want to get some answers back from you, and then we'll go on from there. It's nothing too exotic. It's just quite sort of standard stats, really. So we'll see what we get. So my first question to you boys is: how many games have been played between Tottenham and Arsenal?
What closest to gets the point?
Closest to. And if you get it on the head, you get a high five.
During lockdown, that'd be the most affection I've had.
Oh, exactly right.
We'll let Ryan go first.
Yeah, go on, Ryan.
Oh, will ya? Cheers, man. Yeah. So it's not just Premiership era.
Yeah, all time, according to my phone here.
Okay, so 1895, 2 games a season.
Carry the one.
Deduct for the war.
The cup games.
211.
211, nice. Pete?
Oh, I'm going. Oh, sorry. Go on, Pete.
I was going to go 212.
10. Yeah, there you go.
I'll go 195.
195.
I'm going higher. I reckon it's like 252.
252. The correct answer is 201.
Oh,
So I believe
Nice
Peter,
Peter.
that is correct for you. So not bad.
So glad I didn't go 2-1-2.
Yeah,
I nearly
you
just
would've
went 200.
that would have been pretty impressive.
Mm.
Okay, next one. A sort of dual answer here. Which team has A, the most wins, and B, how many wins in the North London Derby history? One's fairly obvious.
well, don't say that because I was.
Draw.
Go on, Ryan.
Me first again.
Yeah.
I'll go for the Arsenal. And I'll say 136.
That stings. That stings. There's only 202.
I know.
201
I haven't
games.
catered for draws at all.
I'll go Arsenal and I'll say 92.
Jez?
Yeah, I'll say obviously Arsenal, and then 100. I'll go for them.
The correct answer is Arsenal, and they have won 82 games.
Oh.
So,
Peter's on fire.
so
I'm really annoyed because I was just about to jump in and go, no, 82.
of the 201, we have 82 wins for Arsenal, 53 draws, and 66 wins for Spurs.
But what was my answer? Because if you take 53 from it and you cater for the draws, I think it's pretty bang on.
Pretty close, but not close enough. Who is the top goal scorer in the North London Derby, and how many goals does this player have?
Oh, is it?
Right?
Whoa. Adebayor.
And how many goals?
Oh, 7.
7? Pete?
Harry Kane, I'm going to say. And I'm going to say 12.
12. Jez?
Yeah, I think Kane broke it recently, and I think it's 13.
The correct answer is Harry Kane, and he has 11 goals. So Peter is right again. Incredible performance. And the final question here I have is, what was the largest victory in the North London Derby?
Ooh.
So
Largest margin.
So victory / score.
7-2.
I was going to say 7-2.
7-2. To who?
I'll back my guys.
Okay, nice.
Yes, we used to be good ones.
I'm going to say then 8-3.
8-3 to who?
I'm going to back my guys.
I respect that.
Yes.
I'm going to say 8-1 to the Spurs.
8-1 to the Spurs. You're all incorrect. The largest victory was Tottenham Hotspur 0, Arsenal 6, and that was in 1935 at home for Tottenham, which is
I
really
remember
good.
it.
Remember it well.
No, now you say
Remember
it.
it well. And that is all from the stats corner this week.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank
I
you.
think Pete won that comfortably in the end.
Well
Well done, Pete.
absolutely.
Well done.
So, chat, I think we'll tail off. We'll just do a short episode for this, but they're not London Derby special. I reckon we'll finish off with predictions. The way we do it, right, is you've got to do a result and then something niche that will happen in the game. We do it for points. You're doing it for fun.
Oh,
Pride.
lovely.
Okay?
Okay.
Who would like to open proceedings?
I'm so scared of making predictions.
Well volunteered, Peter.
Yeah.
You're all
Now who speaks first, answers first.
1-1 because I'm just always scared, and Arteta and Jose to get in a little nose-to-nose spat.
Oh, that would be. I'd
That's
love
my
that.
niche.
Ollie, I'm going to ask you to go next, I think.
On the wise words of Ryan, with Arsenal potentially playing a weakened side, which I think is possible as well, I'm going to be very bold, and claimed 3-0 to Spurs, with a Harry Kane hat-trick being my knee.
Oh, that is very bold.
Praise for our namesake. Okay, I'll go. Ryan, we'll finish with you.
There I finish.
You bloody beast. I think we'll nick a 2-1. I think we'll just sneak it. And the niche thing I will go for is that we will score that winner in the last 5 minutes. A question to the team, to the group: do I get those points from 85 minutes, or does it need to be 5 minutes, depending on extra time? Like, so if it was 3 minutes extra time from 88 minutes to the end of the game.
I'd give you from 85. Yeah.
You're very kind. The gentleman is very kind to us today.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to Tottenham. And I'm going to say Aubameyang won't play more than half an hour.
That's a good
Niche.
Coming off the bench or due to injury?
Bench. If he gets injured in the Europa League, then yeah, then that still counts.
Were you 2-0, right? Sorry.
2-1.
2-1.
You'll be 2-0, really, really comfortable. We'll score very late on. Then we'll bring on Aubameyang. And the game will be dead.
There you go. He's predicted it to the letter. Well, we thank you, Ryan. We thank the gentleman for coming on this show.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers for coming.
It's been an honour and a pleasure, gentlemen. You've treated me without the hostility I expected, except perhaps for some of the beast comments.
You pipe down, you beast. You speak when spoken to. You come onto our show, think you can do what you want. You can't, mister. Who do you think you are?
Can I ask, what do you think is success for you this year for Tottenham? With the squad you have, what is
beast,
success for you
I asked the questions
year?
on this show. Come on, you can ask the questions. Who do you think you are, mister? It's a great question, and I shall ask my compatriot, the gentleman Peter Kleins, to answer the question.
What would be a successful season? If we somehow get top 4, I think that'd be incredible. I just can't see Chelsea slipping up. I would say if we get Champions League football through whatever means that may be.
And the host is off.
Fair.
I would say top 6 and the Europa League would be a good season now. At the start of the season, you would have looked for top 4, so you could possibly call it a disappointment if we don't get top 4. But if you get Champions League, that's important. And if we get a League Cup as well, I'm not fussed about that. I don't think we'll win both. We might not win either, but I think we'll possibly win one of the two.
I agree with Peter. I think it's just down to champs. If you get Champions League by coming 4th, successful. You've done very well. Well done, Mourinho. If you get it via winning the Europa League, same thing. But if you don't, even if you win the League Cup, for me.
So the 5th place team still get Champions League football if someone in the top 4 wins it?
Yes, I think that's correct. If a City won it or whatever, then yeah.
Come on, Man City.
No, I want PSG to win it up the pot.
Come on, PSG.
Oh.
Well, they're drawing
He sticks to his guns, this boy.
I love about Peter. He sticks to his guns. He doesn't change, but no matter what, he sticks to his bloody guns. Oh, before we leave you though, guys, please love us. Please subscribe to us. Please watch us. Please share us. Please be our friends. Just give us a reason, as we always say. Please give us a reason to carry on doing this, because we won't do it forever for no reason. It's been long enough. It's been long enough. There's no reason apart from our own happiness. Let me tell you, we won't carry on. But it's been a pleasure, guys, and thank you for coming on. And thank you, Ryan, for being with us. We hope to absolutely smash you come the weekend. Sorry.